Yo, what is up, guys? Musk and Mates is back yet again for another installment. This time, we're going to be going over the developer log of Project Epoch, and specifically the September one. And we may go back and look at the August and July. For now, we're just focusing on the most recent one. And, of course, I'm joined by Jiggy here.
What's up? What do you even say?
Good enough, whatever, fuck it. So yeah, first
Yo!
off... Yo, it's me!
Yo, what's going on, guys?
Anyway. So yeah, starting off, endgame gearing and itemization. This is probably the biggest news of the month. Basically, what they're saying is they're going to be going with Classic Plus itemization. And they've, like, it's because it's a Wrath client, so they've reverted pretty much all the items to a 1.12 state.
They've actually, I believe, from what I understand, they've actually, like, stat squished even the 1.12 items. So, like, 1.12 Molten Core is, like, stat squished to allow for, like, more overhead because they're going to be releasing more and more content, right? An example, Nax. The jump between, like, AQ gear and Nax gear is, like, enormous.
Yeah.
But, like, because these guys want to keep releasing, like, more and more tiers after Nax because they're doing a V+ server, what they're doing is like, well, does Nax gear need to be like 20% stronger than AQ gear? And the answer is like, no, it doesn't.
No.
It's like busted.
Yeah.
So what they're doing is like, instead of like, the mindset here is, instead of having Nax gear 20% stronger, let's have it like 5% stronger than AQ gear. And people will still rate anyway because 5% gear, if a gear is like 5% better than the other gear, it's still worth getting.
Yeah, exactly.
So it doesn't need to be 20% stronger.
It doesn't
So
need to be
that's the
insane.
mindset here. Yeah.
They have like a little chart here that says,
Yeah.
It's like Blizzard min
Or
versus
they-
max. So, like, this is an item level squish, they're calling it. I mean, technically it's item level, but no one in vanilla really looks at item level or gear score, whatever the fuck you want to call it. But so
No.
on Blizzard, it's like 60, max 63, but tier 1 scales up to 78, right? But on Epoch, tier 1 is at, it's only going up to 67 item level, so like the gear is much weaker overall.
Yeah, it's hard. That also means, like, I believe legendaries are also nerfed, from what I understand. So like something like Hand of is it Hand of Ragnar? Is that what's called, the mace? Yeah, I believe that's also nerfed. I think Thunder Fury might be nerfed as well. I believe that's the implication here.
Yeah, but it's just basically a power creep. It's a control on power creep, because let's say they have like 2 tiers after Nax. We're gonna be at like 20,000 health, just fucking blasting people. It's just, it gets ridiculous. Even in Nax, it starts getting a little crazy. So
Nax is the one that needs to be nerfed hard. Like, Nax is the real outlier. Yeah,
it is.
There's a couple, like, there are a couple of items in like BWL and stuff that you would consider like quote unquote problematic for power creep. Like, I guess you could say even like Thunder Fury is a prime example, where like people were literally raiding early tiers in TBC with Thunder Fury still because it was just like that strong. Like, that's a hardcore power creep item, but like at the same time, like, it's pretty hard to get, and you have to have like a lot of luck to get. So it's like, I got mixed feelings about it. But I think nerfing all of these raids, like all the gear out of these raids, and like keeping them very close to each other, like BWL, you know, it should only be like 5% better than Molten Core, like, you know. And it still makes it totally worth doing. It's just like, but there's no reason that BWL should be like massively stronger gear than like Molten Core. And there's zero reason why Nax should have massively stronger gear than like AQ. It makes every tier before it totally worthless.
Yeah, I hate that.
When Nax came out, we weren't doing anything. The only thing I remember, like, back on Elysium, when Nax came out, we weren't doing anything except like split Molten Core runs to get like to try and get like a lucky drop for like Thunder Fury for our like tanks. That was it. That was literally all we were doing. Like, it made AQ like worthless. Who the fuck wants to go and do AQ, which is like an annoying raid to begin with, when we can literally get like better gear off trash and fucking Nax? Like, that's why that shit needs to be nerfed, especially on a Vanilla Plus server, because the power creep's gonna go out of control. What happens with the tiers after Nax on let's say Project Epoch? Are people going to be running around with like 10k HP if we leave it the way it is? Like, no, it's going to be silly. Squish Nax, squish BWL, squish AQ, squish all these raids, and then, maybe 2 tiers after vanilla, we can end up getting close to like, maybe 2 tiers after Nax, we can end up getting close to like where Nax is. And then we have so much more headroom to like progress. It's absolutely no question about it the correct thing to do. Not even a question. Like,
Yeah,
it's that. This
100%.
is 100 million% correct.
That's one gripe I've always had with WoW is how they've developed their like expansion model and even just patch to patch, it wasn't so bad. And like in at least in vanilla and TBC, there was reasons to go back to old raids, but starting in Wrath, it's like there's literally zero point in doing anything that's not the patch, and
Yeah.
it makes like what's the point of developing all this content if people are only doing it for 2 months? It's really just flawed game design in my opinion.
It's hard to design though. It's hard to like fix because like
Yeah.
MMOs are progressive, but like you can do stuff to make it not so not so vicious.
Yeah, things
Like you
but
said on Wrath, like who's running Nax when Ulduar's out? Like
uh,
no one.
that's why I like the ideas of like having unique trinkets or even like legendaries or stuff like there's certain items in older raids and older versions in TBC and vanilla that you would target
Yeah.
like in you'd keep doing gruels
Like
because you
BRE or
want
something. Yeah.
yeah BRE or the Thunder Fury or gruels for DST. So
Yeah.
that's kind of even though it gets annoying, yeah, we're clearing it, but eventually you get powerful enough to smash through it. So it's like it's cool that there's
Yeah.
still a reason to go back and farm old items. And another thing that Epoch is doing here is they're actually adding new items to the raids. It's not just going to be like rebalanced vanilla items. So you can see Golem Egg. It's a Golem Egg example, and so they've added the Basalt Etched Blade, which is a spell crit caster weapon.
It's an axe, which is kind of
A
cool.
new waist for warriors, and I think the only waste was onslaught girdle. So and there's a spell power. There's Mage's Blade as well in Molten Core. So there's like an alternative to Mage's Blade. There's an
Yeah.
alternative to onslaught girdle, and now there's also Fury of the Earth here, Mail Belt, which is Hunter, I guess, enhanced Shaman, and enhanced Shaman will actually be a real spec because it's TBC
Yeah.
classes. So
Well, there's another thing I've noticed they're doing to like try and revamp what I would call like old, like trying to make people still run old raids, and I believe that they're kind of adding like rare pet drops and like rare recipe drops. So like that should keep people running like these raids even longer to try and get like, because there's a lot of people out there that just like collecting shit, especially on these like vanilla plus servers. Like I saw it when I played on Turtle WoW. There was lots of people that were obsessed with just like collecting shit from quests and stuff, or like reputation hand-ins. So I think this is like a great idea,
yeah.
to keep dungeon raids alive.
And yeah, like you commented on the Sulphurous Hand of Ragnaros earlier, and they literally say right here that the item level sat at level 80 and they will be reducing it to 74. And
Yeah, that's a decent
further
nerf.
modding its effect to provide a unique Project Epoch specific variant of the Fiery Mace. So yeah, they're definitely going to nerf it, but they still plan on it being useful up until tier 3, whichever their tier 3 raid is, whether it's a vanilla raid or if it's their own custom raid. I guess that would be their custom raid, because doesn't I don't Nax was tier 3, right? Because AQ is considered like
Nax is
2.5.
tier 3,
Yeah. So yeah, so I guess that would be their own unique tier 3. And another thing they're doing with gearing is not just dungeon sets. They're adding sets for all the specs. It's not just gonna be like one warrior spec.
This is, thank fuck for this, by the way.
Yeah,
Holy shit.
and it's needed because of TBC talents. So
Yeah, well, bro, there's like, okay, the problem with like the vanilla like version of this is like you just got like, because like a lot of these tier sets were so good for your class, you were basically just forced into like whatever spec they built it around.
yeah,
So, if you were, I don't know, like for instance, I'm not sure what the tier set is for like Druid, but like let's say like the tier set's entirely built around like Resto Druid. I mean, if you want to like streamline your character and use the tier sets, you have to go Resto Druid, and that's that. Like you're not gonna go Feral, like you're gonna go Resto, and I just don't like that kind of game design where it like shoehorns and cookie cutters you into a build.
Yeah.
It's like the build's already made. Like they've already decided, based off their own tier sets, that you know you need to be a resto druid. It's like I don't really like that. I'm not really a fan of that, you know. So it's good to see them that they're like mixing it up a little bit. And I guess this is more like TBC design,
Yeah,
where like
every class needs to have multiple viable play styles, in my opinion, for it to be interesting.
yeah.
And I think, like I've said this before, and I'm like the TBC shill in me is coming out, but TBC is kind of a perfected version of Vanilla's talents, in my opinion. It's
Yeah, I kind of agree. Yeah.
you just like every spec you bring to the raid for a different reason, and it's not
A
like,
lot more
and
viability,
they don't.
right?
It's
Yeah.
not just all specs do damage. It's I bring this spec. I bring enhanced shaman because he totem twists and increases melee DPS and tank threat. I bring Boomkin for the spell crit and the fucking melee hit, fairy fire debuff, etc., etc. So everything, arms warrior, 4% debuff that only arms warrior has. That's why you don't have. Not everything has to do massive damage. Stuff can be supporty and still be a DPS class. And having it enabled with the tier sets, it just, yeah, every fucking spec needs a tier set. I'm sorry to say, like, fuck Vanilla's
Yeah, I
design
agree.
with that.
100%. The only thing I worry about when it comes to like TBC talents is like getting thrown into vanilla. Is like, to be totally honest, like vanilla raids are already pretty easy to begin with. So like, and TBC is like, as we know, like TBC, the reason it's a power, like TBC talents are a power creep over vanilla talents, right?
Yeah.
Like because they're just better, like they're better designed. So like everything's more, like it runs better. But like to be fair, like they're massively buffing like a lot of like all the content basically to like match that, and they're also throwing in like brand new mechanics, so the fights will be totally different. So I guess that's how they're balancing the boost in like damage or like the way the class works with TBC talents. So I guess I've already got that figured out.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the only thing I was worried about at the start was like, well, a TBC talent's gonna make like vanilla gameplay even more like futile, like you know. But you know, like I said, everything's gonna be way different. Like this is not even really gonna be vanilla. Like it's gonna be a totally different game. So I'm looking forward to it.
It's pretty much it's literally just working like it did in TBC and Wrath. There's warrior,
Yeah,
priest, druid, yeah. So everyone
yeah, it's
knows,
good.
pretty much everyone knows how this works.
So I think what happened. So I think this is a reforging sort of like okay, like a boss in Molten Core drops a tier piece, and let's say the tier piece is for like a pair of shoulders for like feral druid. Is that how it works? And then you can go reforge it to a resto druid shoulder. Like, is that what they mean? Or does it mean that if you're like resto druid and you have like and you have 8 sets of tier 8, but then you want to become like a feral druid, you can go and just reforge them into feral druid set?
Oh, they're just basically making it so you can get the item without having to leave the raid.
So you can wait. Hold on. What?
So like, you know how when you get a
Oh, so you don't need to go to a vendor. You can just like do it
that's
in
what
the
the
like.
reforging thing is, yeah. So you
Ah,
don't
okay. Yeah.
you don't they don't like that in TBC plus. You have to leave the raid, locate a vendor, decide on an item, return to the raid, or remain in the raid and not utilize the hard-earned item until it ends. And they don't like that, so
Well, I don't really like. I don't really see what the big deal is because like you're not going to use that item anyway because it's not going to have any enchants and shit on
yeah.
it,
I
right? So
mean, I
like,
guess you can carry mats, or people sometimes
yeah.
carry mats with them. I've done that. Like some of the better guilds will have mats in their fucking. Their enchanter will bring mats, or the guy will bring mats, and then they'll just enchant and gem it right away. So when a tier
Mhm.
token drops, whoever's looting the token can inspect it as any other thing and open the new Reforging window. So basically, in the raid, you can craft if you get the token. Like, let's say, for example, the antlers of scenarios. So you have to stand on top of Onyxia and use well, see, this one requires a rune of warding, so that's probably like a reagent. But this one requires you to be on top of Onyxia, and you just hit Reforge with your token, and it'll turn it into the helmet right away without having to go to a city.
Okay, it's so weird.
That seems like, I mean, I get it, but I think that's like, it's cool and it's probably an upgrade, but this is like, that's something that I never really cared about as an issue. I never crossed my mind like, oh man, I don't get to put on this helmet until I go to the city,
Nah, neither. I
or
never
if
gave a
we
fuck
like,
about
if
it
I'm
either.
tanking and they want me, I just hearth and get my helmet and get summoned right back. But I mean, it's cool. I like it.
Yeah,
It's
whatever.
an upgrade, but it's not something that I'm like, oh,
No, it's not something that I'm like. This is like make or break. It's just
yeah,
sort of a whatever.
yeah.
I mean, I don't even know what to say about that. Like, they to me it seems like they want everything they do is like a weird way for you to like interact with the world. Like it's not good enough for them for you just to go to a vendor and turn it in. They want you to like be at this special place to reforge it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they want you to be here. They want you to go on like a quest to reforge this helm into something else. Like everything they do is some sort of interaction with the world. They want you to be as active as possible, doing something in the game, not just sitting in a city and fucking reforging, kind of like what Raph turned into. They don't want you to be in Dalaran. Like going to a vendor in Dalaran to hand in like a tiered token. That's just too easy for them. They want you to have to go on like a mission into Anixia's lair and stand on top of Anixia to like reforge this helm. You know what I mean? Like that's what it
Yeah.
seems like to me. I think that's what their ideology is here. Because I've noticed that it's a common theme with these guys is they want the world to be as interactive as possible.
All right, so moving on, they do a little section here talking about pets, and I'll pretty much summarize it because I don't really think there's a point going into detail, but pets are working pretty much how they did in TBC. They've restored grimoires because they weren't a thing in Wrath, so the grimoire system using TBC classic data is restored, and hunter pets have had their abilities reverted to the Burning Crusade state. So basically TBC pets. And yeah.
Yep. So like they've taken charge, dive, and dash out of the talent tree. So like, does that mean that they kind of like learned? I'm not really sure what that means.
I'm pretty sure these are all in the game, but I think maybe I don't play Hunter, so I don't know. But if I had to guess from just reading this, I would guess charge, dive, and dash were in a Pallant Tet tree, or a Pallant. Fuck, I can't talk. Pet talent tree in Wrath that was added in Wrath, but in TBC and Vanilla, you probably had to go like out in the world and like
Right.
tame the beast, and then
Yeah.
learn.
No, in Vanilla you definitely did, and you had to tame like. It's been a while since I played Vanilla, but like from memory, you would, in order to get different ranks of like, let's say bite, you would have to tame like different levels. Like you would like to get like rank 7 bite or something, you would have to tame like a level 54 like wolf or something like that.
Yeah,
Like, and it was very tedious from
it was
memory.
annoying.
It was really just stupid and annoying.
I honestly think on Epoch though that's how it's gonna work. I think it's gonna work
I
like
think it is as well.
it's
Yeah.
gonna work like classic and TBC.
Yeah, I think it definitely. I think it will. I think that's how they're gonna do it.
Yeah.
But like whatever, pets are just like whatever. It's, you know, like you said, they're basically just like cleaned up a bunch of shit in
It's
regards
just
to like pets.
fix bugs and now
Um,
now they're TBC pets.
yeah.
Simple as.
Now this is what I find really cool. So like the title here is like Moody Nights and rework lighting. So Epoch Time, let me read this. Like Epoch Time is one of the features that we're most proud of, but in how it has been received and how stable it has been throughout all of our betas. We always knew that we wanted to iterate on this concept, and now that nights are both shorter and more common on Project Epoch, we have the ability to do so. Since early on in Vanilla, community-driven patches that make nights radically darker have existed and are active, yet optional usage on other projects. While we do not like that patch as a concept, we felt that it simply goes too dark and loses some of the visual identity of each zone that it functions in. Thankfully, our art legend intro has been cooking away purely based on their own passion to create an overhauled lightning profile for every zone while Kalmador and the Eastern Kingdoms. Within Kalmador and the Eastern Kingdoms. This overhaul not only makes them darker at night, but provides further flare in tone, fog density, and more. So basically, like, this is like massively enhanced lighting over like, even because like the Wrath client has enhanced lighting over the vanilla client, and they're using this on a Wrath client. So this is going to be like an enhanced lighting Wrath client. And I have to say, like, if you go up to that photo there of Tanaris, I believe that is,
Yeah,
looks like it.
That goes hard.
That looks amazing. That looks really, really fucking good.
They have a video here. We may as well watch it. It's a minute long.
Okay.
So this is Vanilla So
Yeah.
Vanilla Epoch. Vanilla Epoch. Yeah, it looks way fucking
Yeah, it's
better.
just a lot more dense looking.
Vanilla. Because in
Yeah, that's based. That's based as fuck.
in what's it called? In Vanilla, they didn't actually have lighting. They just painted shadows on the ground. But now they'll actually have.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there was no lighting. They just paint.
Another thing about this Epoch Time I want to throw in here. This Epoch Time shit's really interesting. It's like it's a lot more than just just like lighting upgrades, which are really, really nice. Another thing with this Epoch time stuff is, I believe like the nighttime when it goes nighttime on Epoch, like these brand new quests happen. So and these new mobs spawn out of the ground, like primarily like zombie mobs.
Really? I
So
didn't even know
like
that.
you can do, yeah. So like certain mobs will spawn out of the ground, and then you can like do the quest for that.
Yeah, I mean, nothing other to say than that's fucking sick, and it's gonna look epic. And it's obviously an upgrade from vanilla, because like in
Yeah,
nighttime in vanilla, the ground is the same as it is in daytime, right? The ground doesn't get
yeah.
darker, just the skybox does. So it's a definite improvement. So next up, they have a profession overhaul. Honestly, vanilla professions, other than engineering, are fucking they're shit. Half the cool items you can make are just worthless. And I mean, there's the odd
Yeah.
item that you use, but like Lionheart
They're like
helm,
complete dog shit the moment like tier one comes out, basically.
Lionheart helm, and fucking like there's a mage robe. That's like I can't. That's pretty much the only thing I can think of.
Yeah.
But they're
And
adding.
Lion isn't Lionheart Helm like a recipe from Molten Core? Is that
Fuck, I
correct?
don't remember. I think it is.
Yeah. So like by the time you have to like go into Molten Core and clear Molten Core anyway, like in order to get it.
Yeah,
So and then that at that point it's just like whatever.
but it's like that helm's fucking bitch for a long
Yeah, it
time.
is. Yeah.
And so they're just basically adding 25 new profession items, and they want to make professions more relevant. I'm honestly happy with that because I've always hated how shit WoW professions are. And the one thing that pisses me off the most about vanilla is it's for leatherworking and skinning. They have all these like mobs, and they all drop a unique hide, like Yeti hide, Chimera hide, and then all they make is like 4 arcane resist, 4 frost res gear. It's like what? Like, are you
Yeah, it's
fucking kidding
trash.
me, man? Like why doesn't this item take Chimera and Yeti leather and it makes like some cool ass frost lightning fucking
Yeah.
gloves or
No,
some shit?
that's always been like a massive problem for me in vanilla is like, and actually to be honest, the entire WoW has been like that since I played it. Like these like crafting, quote unquote crafting like professions are just absolute trash. Like why would you ever pick, like blacksmithing over like engineering, or I mean even enchanting is a lot better, I mean, to be totally honest, even enchanting's getting buffed as well. Like it's just, I don't know, man, like the stuff that you can craft, and like the amount of time it takes to like get these, or how expensive these mats are, I should say, it's just not really worth the payoff for a lot of vanilla items when you're
Yeah.
going to get like an item that's pretty much just as good out of fucking Stratholme or something. Like it's so much easier to run Stratholme like 3 times and get like your fucking leather, rogue shoulders, than like doing any of this sort of shit. Like the only people who were actually focusing on this stuff were like hardcore min maxes on private servers, like apes were like, we need to like take over the devil sword like farm, like just shit like that. Like that's what they were doing, because like the hardcore players were doing like devil sword like crafting.
Well,
But all that gear was quickly replaced anyway the moment they entered tier one. So
yeah, and speaking of which, though, Devil Sword is another piece. Like that's actually relevant from crafting, but it's just there's
yeah.
like three or like there's like fucking a handful of things in vanilla. I mean, TBC professions are a huge part of the early game. Up to like T5, even profession gear is really good. So they fixed it a bit in TBC, but I'd like to see. I think leatherworking is the biggest missed opportunities. It's like why the fuck do like all these hides that are just useless? Like you should just be able to
Just
go.
leather working is trash
Yeah,
on
you should just
vanilla.
go like you should be able to skin cool mobs in certain areas and get certain hides that are
Yeah.
for certain like. It doesn't have to be good, but it could at least have a unique effect, like frost, lightning,
Yeah,
or
like if you
blast,
if
or
you skin a Nixia, right? Like that should go towards some sort of special epic gear.
yeah,
Like 3 Anixia skins, and you can craft this like awesome shaman kilt that's like on maybe even slightly better than like a tier one piece.
yeah,
You know,
exactly.
like just one piece. That's all. Just something like that. Um, that to me like makes more sense than the vanilla system where it's just like, here's these professions. Oh, by the way, the moment that you basically hit tier one, like 99.9% of this shit is absolutely worthless. And like, no one is. Who's doing leatherworking in like AQ? Who has leatherworking? I don't even remember. Like, I don't remember anyone using it.
There might be
You know?
some pieces they added in from like AQ, and I don't even remember. Like I That's all.
The thing is like at that point, like, because if you're using leatherworking as a profession, that means you're losing access to another profession.
Yeah,
So like you might get like a piece that drops out of AQ that's considered like quote unquote like a recipe that's like good, but I can promise you there's going to be gear that's like probably just as good dropping there anyway. So why would we like get rid of engineering for leatherworking and then just have this piece that's like the equivalent of like a tier set anyway, and then we like can't have like a full tier like set and get the bonuses? It's just worthless, bro. Like it needs to be like reworked, and it
yeah.
looks like they're trying their best at it here. They're going to try and add items that like go toe to toe with some tier pieces, I guess. um I'm not even sure, I have to be totally honest, like I'm not even sure of like it going toe to toe with tier pieces is actually good enough. I feel like in order to make something like leatherworking worthwhile, there needs to be something that these guys can craft that's like best in slot, basically.
Or at least do something like completely wacky, some wacky effects. Like at least that. Have blacksmiths almost like ARPG gear. Like have something just so fucking stuff like the crowd pummeler, stuff like rocket boots, stuff like fucking the disarm gloves, more stuff like that. That's just some
Yeah.
niche piece that does some random thing, like maybe a warrior fucking belt that or warrior helmet that makes your bloodthirst cost health, but it heals. But then your next autos heal like 3 times as much or something fucking stupid. I don't know. That's just some example off the top of my head. Some
Yeah.
like barbarian helmet that you can craft. So like you could do some meme shit, right? It doesn't
Yeah.
have like not everything has to be amazing, but at least if it's funny or it allows a different play style using like some cool ass mats, like some I'll go farm that. Fuck, add like add holy damage gear that you can craft. Fuck, like I'll do that on a
I mean,
priest.
you could get really crazy. Like you could do like just theoretically like something. Like not that I'm advocating for this, but like it's an idea. You could like literally have leather workers create like a leather vest for like your pet, like a hunter pet that would like add damage to the pet or defense or something like that. Like just shit like that, and it would just make them like much more viable. Like just weird niche shit that no one else can do. Like that's what like some of these professions need. Like why is engineering so good? Because it can do shit that nothing else can. What's the equivalent of rocket boots? Like a swiftness
Nothing.
potion?
It's because
Like nothing that
yeah, it's because all the professions just give you stat stick gear that's shit. But
yeah,
engineering gives you like bombs and bazookas
it's
and
totally
fucking
unique. Yeah.
yeah, it's cool.
That's what makes it so good.
In vanilla, yeah.
Leatherworking, if the vanilla version of leatherworking just has nothing, like it just has nothing going for it. Okay, like even like look, I'm gonna be completely honest here. Like the only time leatherworking might be like somewhat useful is like during leveling, right? But no one leveling is like wasting time collecting mats and then going to like a leather worker to like you know, make them a 39 shaman kilt. Like they just don't care enough. Like that's considered like a waste of XP. Like we would rather just do quests and just brute force it.
Yeah.
Like
That
we don't no one's sitting there waiting for like a leather worker.
that's another huge problem I have with vanilla. Like leveling, leatherworking, and blacksmithing alongside like leveling 1 to 60 is just it's like
Nightmare. Yeah.
it's brain cancer. It's not even worth. You're better off getting to 60 and then getting your epic mount. Like there either needs to be more ore or like the crafting professions themselves. The first 300 levels need to be fast, and then maybe the last like 15 or the last I don't is it 350 in vanilla? I think it's 350. The last 50 levels are
Yeah.
like super long and arduous, but the first 300 need to be super fast so it keeps up with you as you're leveling. Not like oh I'm level 60, it's time to make my bronze, my copper wrists, or like
Yeah.
half the time whenever I try keeping something up while I'm leveling, I just end up like I'm at
Yeah,
like
you out leveled
bronze.
the
Yeah, you,
profession.
you
Yeah.
out level as shit, and you're in a zone that doesn't even have the ore you need, and it's like fuck, I'll do this at end
Well,
game.
that's how I've always leveled. Like I've leveled and then I've gone back and like done the professions afterwards. Like
Yeah,
that's how it's always
it's
been.
fucking
I've
dumb.
never had a single I've never played a single run through of like really even in Wrath. Like I've never played a single run through where I've been able to like keep up. The only profession I've been able to keep up with is
Skinning.
like skinning.
Yeah,
That's it. And then you like just swap skinning out after you like done after you hit like 60 and then get like an actual real profession. That's another prime example. Skinning. Just worthless at 60. It's just like a money making 1 to 59 like profession. That's all it is. Like you just make money, you skin shit, make money like
yep.
and sell the stacks on like the AH or to a vendor or something. But once you hit 60, bro, that shit's out the window. Like, it's just junk. So, but like I don't know if this is really gonna fix these things. Like,
We'll see.
I don't. Well, because like I just don't think that they're gonna be able to fix skinning and like leatherworking because it looks like they're just buffing everything. So it's just gonna be the same thing. It's just but professions are gonna be buffed.
Well, if the
Like, it's
crafting
gonna be the same
professions
issue.
are if the crafting professions are better, then the gathering professions will be better as well. And
Like,
speaking
hold
of
on,
the
let me.
well, the gathering
Yeah.
professions basically they're just adding like the TBC and wrath functionality where you can mine earth elementals and shit, and then you can skin, or you can like herb plant creatures. Or
Yeah.
salvage mechanical creatures. That's from TBC
Yeah.
Plus, and that's what they're adding.
I
That's
mean,
the only thing they're doing for gathering.
We'll see what they do. We'll see what they do with it. I mean, I'm sure they're gonna try their hardest to like, because like these guys are pretty into this stuff. Like, I'm sure they're gonna try their hardest to make something like leatherworking like really viable because they don't like the idea of like this sort of stuff being worthless. I mean, what's this like level 49?
That's not a bad
Increases
neck,
damage and
actually.
healing. Increases chance you get a crit strike with spells. That's alright.
That's good for level 49.
8 Thorium Bard, 12. See a black. But no, this is like. Aren't black diamonds like incredibly expensive?
I can't remember if they're expensive or they're worth fuck all. There's one. I'm pretty sure there's one of them that are worth fuck all, but
There's one that drops out of like I remember it used to drop out of like the 10-man upper strat or something.
crit one.
That take a look.
That's good. But why? Like, I want to see some level 60 shit. I want to see some stuff made with like Corehound leather or fucking. You know what I mean?
No, never. I'm thinking of pristine black diamonds. Like that's just a green black diamond that's worth nothing. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the
that's
black.
fair.
Right, the
Yeah.
pristine ones are expensive.
Yeah. Let me just look at some of these. So this is like the new gear that they put in, right? Like living helmet, level 52, 16 stam, 10 spirit, increases healing by up to 30. See, that's like a semi-viable. That might be like viable for like maybe a priest or something. You can craft a wand. That's good. A lot of people have problems with wands.
But yeah, this is just. I mean, none of this is solving the issue of crafting though, because all this is leveling gear.
Yeah.
This
pretty
is
much.
all sub 60 gear, and I know.
But they might not be. They might not be showing you like 60 gear though.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, I know that. These are just
intentionally.
examples. But I mean, it's a good
Yeah.
start that the gear is actually better. But the
Bro,
problem.
look at that! Look at that Pally healing belt. That's actually pretty good.
This
That
one,
true silver belt. Yeah.
47.
Yeah, that's not too bad. Yeah. Expanded. So like the gathering professions are just going to be like TBC tier basically.
Yeah, that's what I. just what I said earlier.
Alright, so like that's our opinions on all that sort of shit. But like, let's do the map updates. So
And once again,
I guess okay. Yeah, go and read it out.
Once again, we'd like to extend our appreciation to the community member Toscar, who has been working behind the scenes to update the world maps in various zones to reflect the new changes on Project Epoch. This includes entirely new maps for Tol Barad, alongside edits to the original exploration maps. This should mean it's much easier for players to locate our new points of interest and locales as they explore the world. We hope to continue to do this throughout the world. So here's the Tol
So,
Barad
yeah.
map, and that's in a
I tell you what,
biome.
man, that map looks really, really good though.
And then they have this shit. I guess this is a new area right here on
That's the extended zone, yeah.
This is new on the east side of fucking.
Looks good, man. That's
Highlands.
like it. Just like you click on that map, and it just literally looks like it's a part of like Blizzard made it.
Yeah, Stone Talent Caverns. That's a new. I think that's a dungeon actually.
That's a triple dungeon or something, yeah, or a dual dungeon.
What am I missing here? What's new?
Scrim Patrol, I think.
I think that was already there, wasn't it?
I don't
remember.
Was it? What about Dun Gul'Dar? That wasn't there. I don't think, right?
I think this might be new. I don't fucking
Yeah.
remember. Either way, people watching will know. I can't remember anymore.
The southern part, the tip, like Unji Watha, that was not there.
No, it's new for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, and then they also did this big China change, which basically saying they're just using these different type of tools. I made some shorts, I made some AI fucking lazy.
So
shorts.
what's this? The superintendent is like their prime. That's like a VPN checker or something.
Yeah, basically they're tracking if your VPN keeps changing, and then they'll give you warnings. They'll give you warnings, and that's how they're gonna limit Chinese players by forcing them to use an English client. So
Yeah,
like they won't be able to receive Chinese text. They only receive English, and then blah blah blah. Because they can't.
they need to brick Chinese add-ons as well. Like they need to here's look, like, bro, like the only way the server fails is if like it gets flooded with Chinese. Basically, that's it. Because like the reality is, okay, the unfortunate reality, or whatever you want to call it, the Chinese move in, the English players move out. That happens every single time because these people, okay, are impossible to play with. But at the end of the day, we're playing a fucking MMO here. Like, you need people that can interact with you as a human. These people, when you play with the Chinese, they're essentially like NPCs or bots. It's not fun to play with the Chinese. So they need to keep these people off the server. Or, and if they don't want to keep them off the server, then make a Chinese server that they can go to and fucking viciously ban them off the English speaking one. But at the end of the day, like, especially like this sort of environment they're trying to create, where they're trying to create like this PvE, like community driven environment, having Chinese on the server is just not gonna work. Point blank. Like, no one wants to play like an MMO, a vanilla style MMO that's like ultra community driven with a bunch of Chinese players who like are anti-community. It doesn't fucking work. That's why Turtle WoW, by the way, sucks dick right now. And people and all the Westerners that were originally playing Turtle WoW were fucking like going ballistic when all the Chinese moved in, because it just ruins the entire vibe of the server. They cause like endless problems. So I say ban all Chinese. Like, just viciously ban them. Viciously ban VPNs. Viciously ban Chinese email service providers.
That's what
Any
they're
sort
doing.
of ban Chinese language from that.
That's what they're doing as
Break
well.
Chinese add-ons. Yeah, they need to do all of that shit. Like, just come after them. Make it impossible for them to play the game.
So they're
So yeah, latency
basically
restrictions are stupid, but
yeah, they're not doing
that stuff doesn't work.
they're not doing
Yeah.
latency restrictions, and they're not just banning Chinese VPN IPs, because that doesn't do anything, because people in China
Yeah.
can just get around it. So what they are doing is email blocking. They have to use the US client,
Yep.
and that's the two main things. So basically, they're just putting a bunch of hurdles that make it annoying as fuck for Chinese players to play. And even if
Yeah.
they're not allowed to speak any language on Epoch other than English, or they'll just get
But
banned.
they,
So
they need to break Chinese add-ons as well. That's what they need to do. Because don't Chinese like use like Chinese add-ons to like communicate, like, and translate
I don't think
stuff?
they'd work, because they're forced into using the US client, so they would only be able to
Okay.
use US add-ons compatible with the US
Okay.
client. I could be
Well,
wrong.
let's hope this
but
works then. Like, we'll see what happens. But like, I think it's good that, because I remember like a couple of months ago, these guys were like not willing to like take the Chinese question on at all. They just didn't want to hear about it. But it seems like now, like with the shit show that was Total WoW and the absolute shit show that was Everlook, maybe they finally realized that they put all this work into the server, and if they want it to be any good, they're gonna have to keep these fucking literal parasites off the server. So, you know, maybe they've realized that and had to come to the conclusion that, yeah, we're gonna have to go hard on these guys because they're gonna fuck our server up, and the English people are just gonna leave. And let's be real, bro. Let's just keep it real. If you don't have English speaking people on your server, no one gives a fuck about your server. Like, your server has no clout. No one gives a shit about Everlook. No one could care less. Everlook has like 12,000 people playing on it. No one gives a fuck, because guess what? There's no English speakers on it. No one on WoW servers wants to hear it. No one cares.
fucking
Zero clout. Yeah, you know,
go on I wonder what would happen if you go on Everlook and type in who's Zhao. Probably like fucking
like fucking probably 800 results would pop up.
fucking
Like,
probably 2,000 results out of 2,000 players.
and
So
now Everlook are like desperately trying to like backtrack and like, what are they doing now? We're making an English-speaking server, and like all the Chinese are going to be annihilated off the English-speaking server, and they're completely banned, and we're going to like violently attack them. And it's like, bro, it's too late, bro. You should have done that like a year ago. Like, the Chinese moved in, and the Western speakers moved out. The English speakers all left. It was as simple as that. They didn't want to play with a bunch of fucking Chinese, because quite frankly, you know, who the fuck would?
yeah, I don't. I played with I had a Chinese guy. That's why I quit Northdale. I hit level 60. I was doing a lower Blackrock Spire, and in that area, I can't remember. I think it's spiders on the way to the top. There was like a fucking million spiders on us, and all of them are non-elite. And this fucking Chinaman is fucking single casting Frostbolt on each one, And I'm spamming use fucking Blizzard, use fucking Blizzard, use fucking Blizzard. Then he finally uses Blizzard. We kill him all, and we move to the next pack, and he's frostbolting him again. And
Yeah, you know, for
I
like
was
for
fucking losing. And then I literally quit the server after that. I'm like, I'm not playing with these. I'm not playing with fucking Chinese people ever again, man. I can't
bro, you know,
communicate.
for how addicted they are to the game and like how hardcore they're actually really fucking
They
bad. Like
fucking
wow, like
blow
it's
ass,
really
man.
weird. They're horrible, but they're like they play 20 hours a day.
I don't get
It's
that.
crazy.
Private server players are like the worst. Their skill is they're so fucking bad. Even
Yeah.
on like Northdale or even on Everlook and shit, you think private server players would be the hardcore guys, right? But the people that play
Yeah.
private servers have fucking brain damage or something. I swear to God, they're so fucking bad.
Well, they're just trying to keep the 2007 like nostalgia alive,
It literally
like just by
feels
playing
like
at that
it.
level. Well, in a weird way, it's kind of good because it actually kind of like does feel like it.
Yeah, I've never
like it's an
seen
authentic experience.
I've never seen so many fucking just Down syndrome backpedaling, lazy
Backpedaling clickers
and
and
even
shit.
like even on fucking that TBC server, like how I don't even understand. You have a fucking we had like a green warlock come in and just out DPS all these geared fucking frozen shadowy fucking spell strike warlocks. Like how the fuck are like you press two buttons, man? Like how the fuck are you so bad?
Just
Oh man,
chilling, bro.
I could rant for hours about how fucking bad NA players are on private servers. Like
Yeah,
I'm kind of getting off topic, but basically if you're not rating an EU on 99% of private servers, you just especially in
you're gonna have a rough
2023, you're
time.
just gonna have fucking brain cancer.
True. But you know, like I'm happy that they're like taking on the Chinese question like full force and actually made
Yeah.
like and dedicated like an entire like section to it. So it means they're taking it pretty
The
seriously
Yellow
as
Menace.
far as I'm concerned. Yeah, the yellow peril. They're taking it on. They're taking it head on because we don't want. Listen, man. I speak for like every English player like on Epoch. We don't want these people here, bro. Like we don't want any of these people here. Like I haven't met like a single Epochian on the Discord that's like, we're happy to have the Chinese play with us. Every single one of them's like, can you please like ban these people because they destroy Total WoW? Like, and then like a Chinese person will like join the Discord, and there's like a join list comment section thing where it shows like someone's like has like blah 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 like Jing Bing Dao has landed, and then there'll be like 10 vomit reacts or like 7 Taiwan flag reacts. Like it like they don't want like it's very very clear to me like that the community does not want these people here like at all.
Yeah.
Like we don't. These people just these people suck dick. Now you know if the Chinese players can like actually speak English and like interact, then that's a different story.
Yeah, I
Then
don't
at that
care if
point
they're
they just sort of
playing.
become like they just sort of become players. But man, 95% of these people cannot speak English, and they don't want to speak, and they don't want to interact with English speakers either. Like they actually just like build their own like ecosystem. So fuck these people. I have no time for them. Ban on site, ban violently, ban viciously.
Ban.
Yeah, annihilate these people. I'll do it for free, bro. Like, make me the GM. I'll fucking just go around banning Chinese players. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I'll do it I'll like play for 5 hours. Then I'll spend 2 hours like just nuking Chinese players during Oceanic time, which is when they're at their most active. So, give me the keys. I'll do it, bro. I'll do it. I'll get rid of them. I'm sure there's more than enough people that are willing to ban these people free of charge. Like, so I'll ban Jing Dao Shan all day of the week. Like, I have no problem with that. So yeah, fuck these people. I hate them.
Fuck them.
So like, they ruin every fucking server I've been on. These people suck. You know, they're horrible. So I don't want them on Epoch. That would be like a disgrace. Like all this work to go into this server, this community server, to have it overrun by a bunch of Chinese, that would be like a nightmare scenario. At that point, I think I would literally just give up on WoW. I'd be like, you know what, man? Like, fuck this shit. I'm out of here.
The final.
Like,
Would be the finalist of finalists freshes.
Pretty much. I'd literally be like, you know what? At this point, like, I'm straight up done
be
with
like-
it. Like, this is just like a
Sometimes you
nightmare
gotta
scenario.
walk away and say, "Fuck it, I tried."
Sometimes you gotta hang up the keys, you know, and,
Yeah.
and call it a day. Like that would be me calling it a day if Epoch got overrun by Chinese. It would be like so close yet so fucking far away from like the like I don't know, some sort of like beauty or some sort of vision. So close but so far, ruined by Chinese weirdos. But is that it? Like in regards to that, like that's the end.
That's pretty much it. So basically, I think the way they're handling it's the best way to go about it. Just absolutely force
Yeah.
them into using English and putting a bunch of hurdles up.
Yep.
And
Yeah, I
as
agree.
for when the next beta is, basically it's not coming till after New Year's.
I heard January 3, but they could have been trolling.
I mean, maybe because they said right after New Year's, so they don't want to release it during Christmas because they
Well, yeah,
said
that'd
this
be a
is
stupid thing to do.
this is like the last Christmas they're gonna be able to spend with their family before someone has to fucking skip Christmas to manage Epoch. So
Yeah.
so they'll be
These guys are dedicated.
they're gonna take the holidays off, hang with family, and then after New Year's the next beta is gonna come out, and hopefully. Actually, I'll probably have time to plug the fuck in and test it out, and that'll be fun.
Also, I was just reading. I was going through Epoch like Discord right now, and I was reading some of the chat. Um, it seems like I'll ask your opinion about this. It seems like the admins there, they are pretty much like hell bent on banning GDKP. Like, how do you feel
Good.
about that? Good.
Yeah,
That's a
it's
good thing
good.
to you.
It's good.
Okay.
GDK.
Yeah,
I watched someone do a GDKP, and it was retarded. She was just like laying with her laptop, and fucking. When I was raiding Karazhan, and she was just fucking sitting there AFK on like an alt mage and fucking Nax Ramus, not even doing any damage and just bidding on fucking items. And I was like,
Yeah.
what the hell is the
Yeah, it's pretty
point of
shit. Yeah.
like what's the point of this shit? I was
Yeah, it's trash. I agree. I have no problem with it being banned. It's like whatever. I don't really care that much. I prefer it to be banned. Because like I noticed like classic WoW, like the atmosphere was just really bad. Because like there's like a little retail ideology that was there that just didn't really exist on private servers,
yeah.
and it just made for like a very shitty, terrible gameplay sort of community. So I
Like
have no problem with them banning that
honestly
sort of shit.
honestly, I'll take it back. I would like GDKP because I would run it and I would do RMTing because that's epic as long as I'm getting the money. But like
I prefer them not to do it because I care
objectively,
about the
yeah,
server.
yeah. I was just saying, objectively speaking, like from a gameplay point of view, I'd rather if that stuff's bad for a game like WoW, and
Yeah,
I don't want it in the game just because I actually want to
goes
play.
against the ideology of the game.
Yeah, and I want to play. I kind of want to play this server in a
Yeah,
in like an old school way where I'm actually gaming, not just trying to skip to the end. So.
yeah,
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 jokes aside, I don't want RMTing on Epoch, but I will
yeah, for
say the
sure.
idea of a real money auction house has been kind of piquing my interest, baby. But anyway, that's besides the
Is
point.
it? Well, you can go to Everlook and go sell some shit over there with all the Chinese.
Yeah, but I can't
Stay off my server, bro.
I can't beat the sweatshop workers, man.
Yeah, it's true. You want to work for like 5 cents an hour? Come on, bro. It's a hell of a deal.
Yeah, I think that fucking wraps her up, eh? I think we covered the September thingy.
Let's
Dev
go.
block,
Maybe,
whatever you
and
want to
I tell
call
you
it.
what, if this like gets made, if maybe this gets like a pretty good reception, maybe we'll go back and cover like the August
Yeah,
developer log and stuff like
August.
that, because there was some really good stuff back there as well that I guess you could talk about. But we'll just see what happens, like what the reception's like, if people like this, and we'll go back and review some older devlogs, and I'm sure that the reviews will get better and better as we streamline it a bit more. Um, but it's a little bit, we've never done this before where we've like just looked at like a developer page and just scrolled through it and like given our
Yeah,
opinions on like their sort of opinion.
and
So
we're kind of just winging it a little bit.
well,
So
we're fucking, and that's how you do
we're
it.
fucking. Yeah, exactly. Well said. So anyway, yeah. I guess like, comment, and subscribe. There's nothing else really to say, and we'll see you guys next time, whenever that is, and whatever that is. Peace.